I feel like alone, There's certain things that and it's funny because me and my friends, I still read the Bible. I believe that the Bible, you can take lessons from the Bible, and I'm a poet, so I look at everything like metaphorically, like always, like I'm always kind of like seeing different types of, meanings behind things and symbols behind things. So that's how like I read the Bible, like as symbols. Um and so me and my Christian friends, like we have like a group chat where, we send verses or we kind of like talk about certain things. And so there's been times where I've tried to like, put another mindset out there or like put another like idea out there, like even regarding like astrology, for example, because um there's a verse, I think this is in Genesis, where it says that the wise man followed the stars in order to find Jesus, you know? And I remember sharing that with my friends and kind of saying, like, what do you guys think about this? Because, some people believe astrology is this and it's saying this here. So, like, what do you think about that? And we kind of talked about it. Like, we've had those moments where we kind of like talk about it, but it's still not like, I feel like I'm still like trying to find those people that I can have that like kind of dialogue with.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am an astrologer and I host monthly virtual and in person gatherings. Some of those events include moon circles. I do full moon and new moon circles, women circles. I just like to gather like minded people together so we can learn, heal, and grow together. I find that if you're on a spiritual journey or a journey of trying to connect to your best self and live authentically, and the journey is a lot easier when you have other people who are on the same mindset and who share similar gifts and who's living their authentic life and who is working on themselves externally, but most importantly, internally, putting in the tough work to face their shadows or face their trauma or anything that's been holding them back or has, any experiences in their past or childhood or just anything. So if you want to learn, heal, and grow with like-minded women, I invite you to the next virtual women's circle that I'm going to be hosting. It's going to be on April 27th, which is going to be a new moon in the sign of Taurus. So we're going to be talking all about what that means astrologically. We're going to have group discussions. We're going to have questions that align with the energy. We're going to do group readings. So we're just going to do a lot, but I really want it to be discussion based because the moon energy is all about connecting, sharing, being vulnerable, and connecting with feminine energy. So I feel like around that time, if you guys are not feeling it already, that we're going to be it's going to be the start of a new cycle, a new chapter in our lives. We're going to be feeling called to do something new. And I feel like if you've been wanting to connect with like-minded women for a while, that would be the perfect time for you to just follow that inner calling, that nudge that you've been feeling in your heart, to do it. And trust that your intuition has led you here for a reason. So if you're interested, you can sign up at healthygirlhealing.com. I finally have a website now, yay! So it's at healthygirlhealing.com, and you can purchase a one-time ticket for $33. But the membership fee is $22. So the point is, if you want 10% off of the ticket sale, you can become a member for $22. Okay, let's get into today's video. Hello, welcome to Intimate Chats with Jess, where you tell your story and I connect it to your astrology. We see how your story and whatever it is that you are super passionate about or interested, and how does that play out in your astrology chart. So we're getting a real life version of astrology, which is how I like to teach astrology. I really like to apply it or show how it plays out in our real lives, because that's what I've been doing for myself. So this is how the structure of these podcast series are going to be. I like to start off with getting to know the guests. Then I ask them what is something that has been on their heart, to like talk about something that they're really passionate about, or something that's been on their heart, or something that they're really interested in. And we talk about it. And then I will pull up the guest chart, and then we will connect your story, your interest, your passion, to your astrology chart. And then you get to ask me one question about your astrology. And I don't do your full astrology chart. I just connect it to your big three. And sometimes, I give you like a mini astrology reading. Yeah. And so you guys can see how the energies play out and connect to their life story. And yeah, so that is what I like to do. And if you are interested in like becoming a guest on this, then all you have to do is email me at jessica@healthygirlhealing.com. I have a new email, so it's going to be jessica@healthygirlhealing.com. That's my business email. Yeah. And also, in order for you, this is a new rule because I'm trying to promote my Patreon membership, my Healthy Girl Healing Patreon membership. So if you want to be if you want to be a guest, you also have to be following me on my Patreon, but you can follow me on the free version. It doesn't have to be the paid version, but because on Patreon, you can also be subscribe as a free member too. You don't have to be paid. Obviously, paid comes with all the perks, but if you just want to be free, and I think you still want to start to like do something like pictures or something for free members. But yeah, so you'll have to be following me as a free member on Patreon as well. So just email me or make sure you're following me on my Patreon membership. And then you can email me that you're interested in becoming a guest on the Intimate Chats with Jess. And yeah, and I'll email you your instructions. And then lastly, I want to say, like, this will also be a good like way for you guys to see like how my circles, how the virtual circles are going to be set up. And there's not, I mean, obviously I'm not going to be interviewing people, but this is a good representation of how I like to merge spirituality, astrology, and deep convos, and all the things together to connect like-minded people and to remind you that you aren't alone, even though you may not have someone in your current life or people in your current life that understands how you think or how you view the world or even uses the language. I want you all to know that there are people out there. That's why I wanted to create Healthy Girl Healing, to connect us like-minded women, no matter where we are in the world, to have a space, a home, which I think of as Healthy Girl Healing, to actually connect deeper than just messaging online. Yes, there's still value on like commenting on a post, but intuitively speaking and astrologically speaking, we are in a time where people are looking for something deeper, like than just the surface level engagement with social media. It is a beautiful tool to connect people from across the world, but we are yearning more and more for actual, authentic, intimate connections. Like emotionally, like we want to see faces, we want to engage, and also like meet up at some point. I feel like it's not normal for a lot of people who grew up in the social media era because we're so used to being behind the screens, but times are changing. So I want to be a part of that change. And that's why I have really had to I've had this idea for the past couple of years. If you guys know, you've been following me, a couple years ago there was a vision of this, but when you don't have like a lot of examples, at least for me, I didn't see any examples of that. It was almost like, how do you create this idea that you get? Like, how do you make that a reality? So if you guys have been following me over the past couple of years, you've been seeing like what it looks like to turn an idea, a thought, into an actual physical thing. And it's still gonna be evolving and growing, and I am just, I decided. We're still in Aries season. Actually, shoot, I don't even think we're in Aries season anymore. Oh shoot, Aries season's over, but we're in Taurus season now. Hey, welcome to Taurus season. So Aries season, initiated. It was a start. It was the start to do something. Taurus is about really grounding our feet into it, committing to something. What are we going to commit to, and commit to for the long run? Okay. So anyways, we'll talk more about that later. That's astrology talk. But we are going to be having this new moon in Taurus, so this would be a good, anyways. All right, let me move on so we can listen. So anyways, the point is, after all this explanation, this is the second episode of Intimate Chats with Jess, and it came right on time for me specifically. I swear, like, yeah, yeah. I swear, I just want you guys to put yourself out there more, because if you put yourself out there more, God, spirit, universe, whatever you feels right for you to identify, will connect you to those that are meant for you. If you stay your true authentic self, and then you start to put yourself out there into places, if you get out of your comfort zone and, like, put yourself out in communities and places where your other like-minded people could be, spirit, God, universe will make the connections happen. I know that through experience, especially being an introverted person, and also a person who has like high standards for friends. Like, I just don't want, I've been through a lot of friendships, so I feel like I've learned a lot. And it's not that I have high standards, it's just that, like, I feel like I'm just so open and I can just like befriend anyone, but I'm really starting to realize like how values are important, and like how like the intentions are so important, and having true like compatibility and connection and all this stuff like that is just very important. So anyways, I'm done rambling. Let's get into the episode today. All the episodes are great. So if you haven't watched the first one, watch that after this episode. Okay. Bye. And sign up before spots fill up for the virtual new moon women's circle on April 27th, next Sunday, on the new moon in Taurus. Okay, let's go. Let's watch this. Hi, nice to finally see you.
Likewise, you look nice with the little flower.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good, good. You're gorgeous as well.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we're just gonna dive straight into it. All right.
Okay.
Just know this is a safe space. Okay, so all things are welcome. I always, whenever I go into conversations or even circles, I always say, like, even I've talked to a lot of people and I still get nervous. I still stutter. I still like have, this is just it. So I embrace it and welcome all the weird, all the stutters, all the just be you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to start off with getting to know you. Who is Faith? And I want to take it back to when you were young Faith. Faith. So take me back to you as a child. Who were you? Or where were you from? And what were you like as a child? Then what were you like as like in your adolescence years? And then who are you now?
Okay. So, I'm from New York City, from the Bronx, actually, born and raised. Um, Faith as a child, I would say was like very quiet. I was always good in school. I was always doing what I was told. And not because, I was threatened or like felt scared. Like it was just me. Like I was that little girl like sitting with her hands crossed. Just, just goody two shoes, I guess you can say. So yeah, I was very quiet. Um, and yeah, just very quiet. That's the word I would use to describe myself. I still had a lot of friends and everything like that, but I was definitely just like I had loud friends and I was the quiet one. Um, as a teenager, I was the same. I was still quiet. Um, and I still had a lot of friends who were like very animated and boisterous. I always loved like boisterous and like animated people. Um, but yeah, I was very quiet. I think my friends and would consider me as like a leader in a way. But like a silent leader. I wasn't necessarily like, hey, let's do this. And like I would just go my own way, you know, go with the things that I like. And, I guess it was good. I don't know, but yeah, I was kind of a leader. But yeah, I was still like just very quiet. I was funny. I've always been, goofy and everything like that, but just shy. Um, and as I've gotten older, like say my 20s, because I'm 30 now. I just recently turned 30. So, in my 20s, is when I really started to think about why I've been so quiet. And kind of just like more so examine myself. Um, and I actually started to realize that it was me being quiet was out of I guess you can say fear and peer people pleasing. When I was young, I had certain situations happen to me and like I just remember my parents, well, my mom, um, just saying to be quiet, you know. And I feel like that really stuck with me because as you know, like when you're younger, it's your youngest years where the most impressions are put on you. Um, and so I think that's memory. Like when I think about my childhood, like that's always one of the first memories I think about. I'm not like those people. It's funny because I have friends like that, but I'm not one of those people who can like really think about memories when they were like 3 years old, when they were 4 years old. I have really bad memory. Um, but yeah, that's like one of the first memories, unfortunately, that I think about when I think about my childhood. Um, so yeah, because of being told to be quiet, like I feel like that's why I grew up the way I have. And my brother's quiet as well. Like we're just like that. Um, but yeah, like I started thinking about why I was that way. And um, I feel like I started to have like more compassion for myself and just kind of acknowledge, my inner child. Um, and then I started realizing like, wait, like I don't have to be this way. Like I want to change because I have so much like inside me. Like I told you, like I'm very goofy. I can be extroverted when I'm around the right people. Um, but usually I'm introverted, but like I know that there's so much in me, so I started to like really just want to change that. Um, as I am right now, obviously I'm talking with you and with the potential of being, on the internet. And it's really because I'm trying to step out of that box, of being the quiet girl, of being the shy girl, of being the nice girl, of being the people pleaser, and just kind of saying, this is me. This is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I believe. I'm not saying, it's cemented, but right here, right in this moment, right in this time, this is who I am, and I'm not afraid, or I don't care what you think, kind of thing. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I love that. And you're doing really well. I wouldn't even expect you to be the quiet, I mean, person. You're pretty seem like confident with how you're talking. So thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna try to like minimize my responses just for the sake of because I always want to. My goal is to make these an hour, and I'm a big talker. So if I don't like, if I'm not like engaging too much, just because I'm like trying to be conscious of the time. So great, 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 great. I love that. Okay, so now I want to get into your topic. So what is on your heart today, Faith, to talk about?
It's so funny. My name is Faith, but like faith is what's on my heart to talk about. Being a spiritual person in a world, being an unconfined spiritual person in a world where um I'm surrounded and I have relationships with people who are of other faiths. And just how it affects me and how it affects, my relationships. That's my topic. That's what I would like to talk about for today.
Okay. All right. So the first thing that I think of when you say that is let's break down the unconfined. Um, what do you mean by that?
So, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
Explain like why. So, I told you in my 20s, I started kind of like thinking about why I was the way I was and everything like that. And I can't really, I think, yeah, around 23. I can't believe it's been so long. I'm like 30. I'm like, where did the years go? How? Because I remember that time like yesterday. But around 23 years old, me and a couple of friends got into a church. And we would go to church, but then they also had these like little groups within the church, where people from the same like neighborhood or so could kind of like get together and, just talk about things that were on their mind, troubles that they were going through. And, during those sessions, we would just really like just uplift each other. And with encouraging words and prayer and all of that. Me and all my friends, I have three main friends. It's the four of us. I have other friends as well, but like I've really become transformed with them, during this time. Um, so we were all doing this and I loved it because I love to encourage people, and I love having like, intimate conversations with people. I feel like that's the best way for for me to get to know people and for people to get to know me because in a crowd, like I'm not gonna stand out like you know. So yeah, I loved those sessions that I would have with people. And I went through the whole thing, I got baptized, my friends all got baptized and everything like that. But in my mind, I never said that I was Christian. And then even during my baptism, in my mind, I got baptized because it was like a metaphor or a symbol for me really changing and having that desire to change and wanting to change, and like in the Christian faith and I guess other faiths, like baptism is saying, this is brand new. This is my new life, after being saved and everything like that. But mentally, like I had the same reasons for being baptized, but it was still a little bit different because it wasn't under the same, I guess, vocabulary or whatever the case is, you know? So I went through the whole process and my friends all became Christian and I never really claimed it, and me and my friends, like we talk about God all the time. We have really like intimate conversations. We always include God in it. And even when we're all together, like you can feel the higher power is there. Or as some would say, the Holy Spirit is there. You can just feel the energy. Like when we're together, like it's powerful. When we're praying, like we're really like it's powerful. Um, but yeah, this whole time they didn't really know that they didn't really know my like intimate sentiments, and I'm not surprised because that's always how I've carried myself, like I've told you, like I've always been kind of quiet. So like the things really intimate to me, like people didn't know about. Even friends that I've had for a long time, like they didn't really know about any like traumas, like the details, that I had. So them not really knowing wasn't really like obviously I didn't tell them, so they just assumed, you know. Um but yeah, it was even as I was still a part of the church, I'm no longer a part of it. Um Deep down, like I still was like, there were just certain things that I didn't agree with, certain things that I just didn't believe. And so like I never felt like I could truly say this confined to like, a certain religion. Um So that's why I say that I'm unconfined because like I'm very interested in religion, different religions and other religions besides Christianity. And I really see like the parallels between all of them. There's a lot of similarities between all of them. It's just different vocabulary and just different, it's just a little different, but it's really all like the same kind of. So I'm very interested in it. But because I feel like because I see all the similarities and because of certain things that I don't agree with, and also just because of um I just can't totally confine. I hope that's a word. It sounds like a word. I think it's a word.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you think about you're like, wait, is this a word?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
But yeah, like that is why I say that I'm an unconfined spiritual person because I'm very spiritual, and I have a close relationship with God, but like um I just can't, at least right now, like confine to any religion. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I resonate for sure. Okay, so all right, so now that we have that defined, was that so did you want to build more on the topic or was that kind of um
Yeah, I can.
mhm.
Currently, um actually let me go back a little bit. Like I would say like a year ago. I finally like had the conversation with my friends um about like what I believed. And it's so funny because I wasn't really expecting the conversation, but I felt it coming,
Mm.
and I felt inside that it was time to like express myself, you know. So yeah, I had the conversation with my friends, and I told them, well, my friends asked, because I'm kind of jumping all over the place now, but like another thing about like me growing up was that like I never really like expressed my feelings, acknowledged my feelings because of, just being quiet and not speaking. It was just easy to like keep it all inside and kind of like disassociate, you know. Um, but having this friend group like has really taught me to open up about like my feelings and stuff like that. there's a connection there. I don't know. I just felt the need to say that.
Mm.
But yeah, I express my feelings to my friends and my beliefs to my friends. And I remember when I told them, like they were surprised because they were kind of like I believe at least one of them kind of like gasped.
Mm.
And their I guess surprise was like understandable because it's like here I am going through these same steps with them and these same environments with them. Um and I wasn't really like expressing really like how I really truly felt. If you really paid attention, you might have noticed there's certain things I wouldn't say or certain things I wouldn't, encourage or talk about, but like just overall, it's easy, I guess, to kind of like bypass and not really notice. So they were really surprised and they felt bad. They felt like they felt sad. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no reason to feel sad. Like I still have a relationship with God. I believe God is real. Like I love God. Like, all of this stuff. But I understand that like in their lens, they felt sad because I wasn't Christian, it meant, like I wasn't saved or I didn't believe I didn't, take Jesus Christ as my savior type of thing. Um but it's also funny too because like they would also say things like, Faith, I know you're saved. Like they feel my energy and they know that like that I have a relationship with God. They know they can feel God with me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for them it's kind of like that feeling of being sad, like, oh, she doesn't believe this, so it believes that, so it means this, but then also like I know I know she has a relationship with God. It's just maybe not my God or whatever the case may be. Um, so yeah, they were shocked, they were sad, but they were also kind of like, I guess, they were understanding, So that was like a year ago that I had that conversation. And throughout the year, like we would talk about it a little bit, but not too much. It was actually very recent where one of my friends like asked me about it again, and she kind of asked me like, "Oh yeah, do you still believe this?" And I told her, yes, this is what I still believe. This is why I don't believe right now. This is why. And I've they were listening, but I don't know if they were really like trying to come on my side to like understand what I believe and like why, because a lot of times when you confine to a religion, you're saying, I believe this, and therefore I don't believe that, And then there's also some religions that say you must only believe this. And if you look at anything else, like it's the devil. You know what I'm saying? Or like pretty much don't take anything, don't take much from people who don't believe the same thing that you believe because they might mislead you and everything like that. They haven't said that, but it's something that I kind of feel and I understand because I understand their beliefs, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm struggling right now as an unconfined spiritual person surrounded by people who are confined to a religion because no one is really like understanding me. It's more so kind of just like, I hope you come to my religion. I hope you come to these beliefs because I believe they're right. And I wish that more people can just have the mindset of we really don't know. We really don't know. I believe something that we all can agree on is that there is a God. Although there are some people who don't even believe that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like it's 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 been a little bit difficult for me like trying to navigate because like I feel like alone, you know. There's certain things that like and it's funny because me and my friends, like I still read the Bible. You know, I believe that the Bible, you can take lessons from the Bible, you know, and I'm a poet, so I look at everything like metaphorically, like always, like I'm always kind of like seeing different types of, you know, meanings behind things and symbols behind things. So that's how like I read the Bible, like as symbols. Um and so me and my Christian friends, like we have like a group chat where, you know, we send verses or we kind of like talk about certain things. And so there's been times where I've tried to like, you know, put another mindset out there or like put another like idea out there, like even regarding like astrology, for example, because um there's a verse, I think this is in Genesis, where it says that the wise man followed the stars in order to find Jesus, you know? And I remember sharing that with my friends and kind of saying, like, what do you guys think about this? You know, because, you know, some people believe astrology is this and other, and it's saying this here. So, like, what do you think about that? And we kind of talked about it. Like, we've had those moments where we kind of like talk about it, but it's still not like, I feel like I'm still like trying to find that those people that I can have that like kind of dialogue with, you know? Like honestly, the only person I have is like really my fiance who he has the same beliefs as I. So like it's kind of more easy to kind of go back and forth, but like I don't have any female friends, you know, I don't have any like other friends who I can like really like dive deep and like talk about certain things with. There's things I can't talk about under a certain lens, but then there's other things that I kind of just like don't bring up because I know that it's not going to be like received, you know? So yeah, that's the that's why I wanted to talk about this today because I'm kind of like struggling a little bit. Um, as far as like navigating this, like as an unconfined spiritual girl, you know, surrounded by people who like are maybe more confined to a religion, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
You
I know.
know?
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. How brave of you to even come on here. I mean, you're like taking a dive.
I know, I'm scared. Like
I
I don't have
love,
social media.
what do you
Like
say?
I have a Twitter because I'm a poet, so I like, you know, seeing poetry and I like posting, you know, my poetry. But I specifically have a Twitter. I don't have an Instagram or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like myself being like on social media. Like I have this I don't like the idea of people like me being in this world of social media and having the access to me or like being able to save anything regarding me or just yeah, just having access to
Mm-hmm.
me. Like that's like a it's like a thing with me. So like I don't have social media, like I don't do it. You know, I'm behind. You know, you can't see me usually. But you know, like I told you in the email that I sent you, I've been watching you since, you know, your hair journey because, you know, I'm a natural as well. And when I saw your transition, I was like, wow. I loved it because obviously I was going through the same thing, you know. And you know, just watching your videos when you started talking about like community and you felt that energy, you know, coming and that you wanted to engage more in community and everything like that. Like I totally related and I felt the same way. And you know, you said, oh, you know, the email is under if you want to have talks. And I just felt this push multiple times to do it. So here I am.
And yay to that. Yay to that. Good. Okay, so before we go into the astrology part, I do want to know, like, okay, so clearly you, I mean, yeah, you are more spiritually connected. So I want to know, like, where did that start for you? Like, how did you? Yeah, well, what has been like your journey with that?
So it's so funny because I was thinking about this the other day. Um, I mean, I when I was young, but well, my background is I grew up, my mom and her family are Christian. My
Mm-hmm.
father is as well, but like he didn't really talk about it or anything like that. I think it was just like a matter like by proxy type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I grew up my mom's from Pennsylvania and her family, to this day they still go to church and everything like that. So when we would go to Pennsylvania, we would always go to church and everything like that. But I was young and I was just there because I had to be there. Growing up, like I don't think had a close relationship with God. I know I was always being protected and everything like that. And the higher power was just like always there in the background, as he is with everyone. Um, but I feel like during my teenage years, that's when I really started to become more connected. There was a certain situation that I was going through. I don't even really remember the details. And it's funny because I feel like I'm going through something similar right now. But in my teenage years, like I was kind of having problems with like friendships. Um, just, close friends that I had, like we weren't kind of like going down the same path. And there was like I just felt like misunderstood and I felt like alone. And there would be times where I would just be in my room and this is during the time like I would smoke too, marijuana. Um, but yeah, I would just be alone. I would like smoke, I would like listen to music and I would just like write. Um, and I feel like that's when I first felt the higher power, like there. And like I really just can't describe it, but I just felt a sense of comfort, in the midst of everything that I was going through. And I felt like, okay, this is where I need to be right now. Like even though it's uncomfortable, even though it hurts, like this is where I need to be. Um, and so yeah, that was the first time I was maybe like, I don't even remember, maybe like 15, 14, 15, around that age maybe. And so I feel like I recognize God's presence, but I still wasn't like close. That really changed, I guess, around 10 years later when I was 23. And that story I told you about, how I pretty much became more connected with God through the church. You know, before going to church, I felt myself yearning more for that connection. And so like, reaching out for it and like kind of asking for it and kind of just like wanting it. And I think God provided a way through the church, even though, I had to go through what I went through, but I was kind of able to like be in an environment that kind of talked more about God. So I was able to kind of like just I don't know how to explain it, but I was just able to like see God. I was able to see God move in people. I was able to just connect. They call it, like feeling the Holy Spirit. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to tap into that like energy more,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, it has really grown since. It has, but like as it's grown, like I've just become more cemented in like my beliefs and everything like that. Um, Also like during this journey, like I started to like read certain books. Um, so like one book I read was called Stalking the Wild Pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
It's by a man named I pronounced his name wrong, but it's like Itzhak Bentov. He's not alive anymore. He I think died in a plane crash or something.
Mm.
Um, but I read
I don't
his
need
book.
to know that. I am so scared of flying and I'm about to go somewhere soon. So,
I'm sorry.
no, you're okay. I just have to put that out.
I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But not really, but
I know, but I understand. I get
yeah.
it. I'm like, I don't need to travel right now. But
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll be praying for you and sending
Thank
emails
you.
to travel.
Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
But yeah, the book is called Stalking the Wild Pendulum, and in the book, he basically describes the scientific explanation of like energy and of like all of these things that we feel within ourselves, around us, with nature, everything. Um, and if you hear a sound, I'm sorry, it's the heater.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I read that book and I was like, this is like a Bible for me because it really describes like the world, the energetic world that we live in, you know? Because and these are conversations that I wish I can have like with my friends because I feel like I can add more context to things, you know, like for example, again, like you mentioned the Holy Spirit, like that's a real thing because there's energy. There's an energy behind it. Even certain things as far as like when you're in church and they talk about tithing and they say, "Oh, if you give from your heart, you know, and you will receive." And then in another scope, in another lens, like you hear that as far as manifestation or like you know, there's so many different words for everything, but it's all like it's all the same thing. Like it's all energy, you know? So I love that book because it kind of just describes those things, you know? Also on my journey, like I've also like looked into like the esoteric, more so like ancient religions, um, you know, like in Africa, um, like Egypt, all of that, because I personally believe that all of these sectors of religions like stem from some ancient beliefs, like, you know, um, because at the end, like, don't they say we all come from Africa anyway? Everything comes from there's a source, pretty much, you know. Um, so yeah, I've also looked into that, and another book that I'll mention is The Flow of Water. I can't remember the name of the author. He's Asian. And it's basically a book about how everything has energy, you know, and he specifically did, you might have heard of this too, an experiment with water and how he took people have done this with rice as well. Like say you take a glass or a jar of like rice, and you speak to it, you know, and one jar you say like positive things, you know, I love you, you're beautiful, all these type of things. Another jar you say mean things. Um, in another jar, you don't say anything. And over time, you see the difference between the three different jars. So he did the same thing pretty much with water. He would take water and he would like it would go through a process of freezing, so became crystals. And during that process, like he would speak to them in those three different types of ways, but he also would like play certain types of music, and the crystals would look differently depending on the energy that you gave it, you know? So um I also loved that book because like it really taught me to appreciate just everything around me more, you know, and just really like the power of like energy. So I would say like that's where I am now, like on my spiritual journey. Like I have a close relationship with God, with the higher power, but I also know that there's a power within me as well, you know, energetically, like I'm connected as well. Like it's full on, you know, connection. But there's just certain things right now that like I don't believe. I believe in like what they mean, like what they represent, but just not those necessarily like terms or so, you know? So yeah, I would say that's like where I am right now. I don't know if that answers your question,
Yeah,
but
it answers my question beautifully.
yeah,
Okay, wow. How do you feel?
I feel good. I like this wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like I didn't come into this really having anything planned because life, because of time, but also because I'm just like I'm just gonna see how it goes, you know. And I know also too that you were gonna like ask some questions because I did watch the previous one that you did with that girl and friendships and everything like that. Um, but yeah, I feel good. I feel like I don't feel like scared. I don't feel like they know me, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good.
Good, good. Wow. Wow. Well, you've dropped a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight that I know like I resonate with and I know a bunch of other people will as well. So thank you for sharing and being brave and putting yourself out there. I feel like this is the start to something new, a transition in your life. So an opening, a blossoming of your of who you are. Okay, so what is your relationship with astrology? Are you beginner? What is the second term? Intermediate? Intermediate, or are you like advanced? Where would you say you are?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer your question, but before I do, I just want to add one more little thing
Yes,
because
please.
like this is like important to, I guess, my spiritual journey as well that I forgot to say.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, my name is Faith. And when I was younger, I told you I didn't really have a connection with God. Like I was kind of like going through things. I felt alone. I was very quiet. I was just very inside myself. And I had a coworker and he would actually call me Faithless. That was his nickname for me.
Hmm.
Faithless, yeah. And it was as a joke. It wasn't like,
Oh,
oh,
okay. Okay.
but he was like, oh yeah, Faithless. Because I was kind of just like at times I could just be like maybe negative or just uh I don't know. I think the energy that I
Mm.
had kind of like low in a way.
Like
Like,
pessimistic.
yeah, yeah. And just maybe people could sense me like holding back and just being in the shell.
Okay, okay.
But I think I was projecting that like inside in the world. And so like I had
Mm.
a coworker and he would call me faithless and he'd be like, oh yeah, you're faithless. And I was just like, yeah, I'm like, because also too, as when you're a teenager, you're kind of just like
Yeah.
cool, like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know. So I was just like, I accepted the nickname. And
Mm.
then as I've gone on this spiritual journey, like I've kind of like the higher power like took me back to that time
Mm.
and made me see like, oh, like that's not me anymore.
Mm.
Because I'm becoming my name. Like I'm so full of faith,
Mm.
at this time. So yeah, I just wanted to add that too because that's something that's like it's ironic, but not really, in
Mm.
regards to like my name and just my spiritual journey. How I was literally nicknamed Faithless, and I feel like I'm starting to walk in my name and who I am.
Mhm.
Yeah. But okay, so as far as astrology goes, I would say maybe I'm intermediate. I know obviously my big three. I know Venus. I know um the houses, not by heart. I still have to Google it, but I kind of have an idea, retrograde, like all these little terms, like I kind of know
Mhm.
full moon, the new moon, all that. Like I know
Mhm. Mhm.
a little bit, but like I said, like I still have to Google things. And I think right now, like I don't really know too much about like planets or anything. So I don't know everything, but I know something. So yeah, I would say I'm intermediate.
Okay. 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 Well, so yeah, so you're familiar with your chart and everything. Perfect. Okay, good. All right, so as you know, on the last one, I like to torture myself by guessing. Sometimes I'm right on it. I'm good. And sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's a flop. So it's okay though. I find that different energies, you're able to notice it more than others. The first things that came out to me, I mean, when I think of like the houses, you're familiar with the houses, right? Yeah. I feel like you definitely have stuff in your 12th house. Like I can sense that. But I got the first things that came in my mind for you. I mean, you kind of gave it away when you said you just had a birthday. So I don't know what that means. It could be mean like earlier this year. I don't know. But I don't know. You give me Pisces energy. Um, but then you like to talk and like socialize and you like people and groups and communities. So I feel like, you could have Aquarius in your chart. Uh, you also seem to really like to learn, and the fact that you can talk about books and reference the author, which I couldn't, I'm not there. So I'm like, oh, that gives me like either Sag or Gemini energy. Perhaps because those are like they're really just good with like learning and information and stuff like that. Then you talk about like, yeah, how you've been around a lot of people your whole life and they never knew like the true you, which gives me Scorpio energy, perhaps. Um, I mean like moon. I'm like thinking like, okay, your moon must be like definitely more like private because yeah. So, I'm not going to second guess it, honestly. I'm not. Just not. Because we'll be here all day as you saw in the last episode. So I'm just going to just go off with a limb. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna go off with the limb and say that I believe like, well, shoot. But that was another thing because I feel like okay, your Capricorn rising, like the reserved part of you. I also wanted to say some Libra in there because you did say people pleasing.
Mhm.
So shoot. So I'm just gonna go and say that you're Pisces sun. My guess. I'm gonna say that you are dang. Dang, 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 dang. The only I think of Pisces moon or Scorpio moon. And then for your rising, although dang, but then I'm like, but I do think you have some air in there. So you could have I did but okay. But that could be your Mercury or something, I don't know. But yeah, then your rising sign. See, I was gonna like say Aquarius or something, but if you seem more reserved, like if that's like your exterior, then I don't know. But I'm not gonna overthink it. I think it could not be Aquarius, but I just want to say Aquarius because I feel like you have that in there. So I'm just gonna say Aquarius rising, Pisces sun, and frick. I was just gonna say Scorpio moon. It could be like, but I threw out all the things that I feel like could be in there. So, all right, so I guess we'll find out. Okay, 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 okay. Does this look like your chart?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. Also, do you use whole sign? Are you traditional, modern? Do you know any the difference or?
I don't know the difference.
Okay, okay. Well, as long as this looks like your chart. Oh wow. Okay. I did second guess some things. It's okay. Okay, so you're Libra rising.
Yeah.
You're Aries sun, which yeah, honestly, I thought that, but then I'm like, well, you said that you are reserved, but that's another thing. Maybe there could be just like you did mention fear. That's
Mhm.
the thing. Okay, so
Mhm.
okay. And then the Pisces moon. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you like the generally we're gonna talk about your big three. Then I'll if you have like a specific like one question about your chart, then we can, talk about that. Let's see
Okay.
where we are with time. Okay. So Libra rising. For me, rising is about like how you navigate your life. It's like, say, for instance, there was a car, and had all of your astrology information, like all your planets in the car, who would be the one that's driving it, that's steering it, and that is like Libra. And then it's also your lens of how you view the world. So for you, you're gonna have a lot of themes that drive your purpose in life and how you navigate life that has to do with um partnerships, um, fairness, balance, values, and aesthetics and beauty of some sort. So that's important for you to, Libra energy likes to do life with others. They like to be with like other people. Um, but they have to be, those people have to share their same values, and they also have to provide them a harmonious like energy. Like they like harmony, they do not like conflict or disharmony. So that's important. And then balancing the like self with like others. For you, that actually aligns really well because I feel like a lot of your life is like how you balance your partnerships and how you balance your independence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially with your yeah, Aries sun. And then so yeah, we'll keep it at that. This is really like basic reading, I'm not gonna go too deep. So then we go to your sun sign, which is Aries. Aries is the opposite. So you already have those opposing energies that you probably often feel like conflicted and try to like navigate the two energies of independence and like partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Also like the other things that okay, I forgot to like let me just say like with Libra, so I talked about the strengths, but the challenges could be definitely like you said, people pleasing, having like a dependency, and because they're so easy, like that energy can really do well with anybody, because they feed off the energy of the people, so they kind of like mirror them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just they know what people need to like feel good. They're really good like social people, but sometimes that they can like lose like yeah, they can be overly dependent on like keeping a harmonious energy and like people pleasing that they like lose sight of themselves and like forget like who are they individually. So that's why it probably comes to you a lot as an Aries because that's important for you to be independent, to step into your fear, be fearless, be courageous, be passionate, like live passionately, and also like self-expressing, like expressing yourself, expressing your passions are very important. And if you don't, you may tend to like struggle with like anger or like frustration um as well, and that's just because you're like not taking action, you're not expressing enough. Oh, I'm not talking to this, I hope you can hear me. But yeah, so it's like you really like you have a lot of energy, you had a lot of drive in you, and you are here to like break through barriers courageously, like do the things that people are scared of doing. That is like the epitome of Aries, but also like claim your independence. Your power is in your independence. So you doing things just for you and like you doing things without the support or need of anybody else is like very important. You having your own identity outside of anybody else is very, very important. Now, for you though, it could be of a little bit of a like once again, you have that Libra energy, but your sun is in the seventh house, which has to do with partnerships again. Seventh house
Mm-hmm.
rules Libra. So it's like you thrive because your sun sign is like your where you get your most vitality, like how you when you like how good you how much energy you feel, how creative you feel, how confident you feel, and you feel the best when once again you're like with other people still. But those people are because it's your Aries rules your seventh house, you do well with people with Aries energy. Maybe Aries, maybe not the sun. It could be sun, whatever, but they need to have some sort of, and maybe they don't have the Aries like stuff in their chart, but if they like have like they just are these confident, courageous, like independent people that
I always
really
love people like
fuels you.
that.
What do you
Mm-hmm.
say?
I've always loved people like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
how I expressed, like I was always like the quiet when I was like inside myself, but I loved everyone else being like, you know, animated and everything.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, because that like energizes you, that like fuels you
Mhm.
up. So that's good. So that's good. So yeah, you are definitely supposed to, I mean, you do well. And then also, but you have the ability to give people that too. And I think that's what you're like like growing into now, by you like claiming the truth and getting out there, and then you can like inspire people too, because that's where you can see that when the sun is in the seventh house, like you just are you have that ability. So then we go to your moon sign, which is Pisces. And yeah, that is very like spiritually connected. Pisces energy is literally like, yeah, you see it's like the two fishes and the fishes are like in opposite ways. So it's kind of like being half in like the human world, like reality, and then half on spirit realm, spiritually connected. It's like you're getting guidance and you're connected by source or whoever you identify as a higher power. But then like you also have to like navigate by being in real life. And it's so hard sometimes. And that's why you see like people see Pisces energy may be like floaty, or they're like, hey, like who are you lit or hello back to reality, because you're just like in this other realm. But it's like you're just that is like how you navigate. You're trying to combine the two, and it's sometimes a lot. And the fact that I'm pretty sure you mentioned like sensitivity or energy, like
Mhm.
Pisces energy, if you think of it, it's the only water sign that doesn't have like Pisces is ruled by the fish. They're only water sign that doesn't have a shell. So their
Mm,
like skin is exposed. And imagine how sensitive to like life energy. Let's talk about energy. That's
yeah.
another reason why like Pisces energy can often retreat or like disconnect from reality through like music, through creativity, then through spirituality, but also the other parts, the challenging part is they can escape through like drugs,
Mhm. Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. So, which, I think, I mean, that's all personal preference. So I wouldn't say one is whatever. But the point is, it's like, what are you doing it for? If you're doing anything for escaping, that is, that is, I mean, unless it's like for creative. Okay, well, I'm not endorsing anything here. I don't endorse drugs, guys. Okay. Now, what you said earlier, the other's like, hey,
Uh,
that's
yeah.
different. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We stay focused, stay focused. But but yeah, so that is what Pisces have to realize is how to navigate like literally like life, because everything like you're just connected. So anything that's happening in your personal life, who you're around, even the energy of the world, you feel it,
Mhm.
you feel the weight of it. Um and so, yeah, also boundaries too. Like, having to set boundaries is a big thing for Pisces energy. But ultimately, you are a really creative, spiritually connected, and you're here to heal. Like Pisces energy is meant to heal others, so you're definitely meant to be like you definitely are spiritually connected. You're here to like utilize that for sure. And you have your Mercury there too, which makes sense. And stuff like that. So that is like your main energy. Oh, and it's in your sixth house, which has to do with service, like work, but service work. Like not just work, you go into work, clock in. Like you like work that is purposeful. You like to like serve others in a way that helps them.
Yeah.
And then also so sixth house has to do with like health, routines or rituals. And then randomly pets. That doesn't always identify with everybody, but
Interesting.
definitely like service and that. So which one of those, if not all of those, resonate with you?
I mean, all of them really like resonate with me. I live my life like balance. Like I'm always saying this to other people, like balance, balance, balance. And I think I'm always used to just having the perspective of like the middle ground. When I was
Mm,
younger and, my friends would go back, like I was always the one in the middle, like trying to, so that Libra definitely resonates with me. And, like I love, being around people and everything like that. But also because, I'm a Pisces moon and in general, like I have so much Pisces in my chart. Um, I am very sensitive, like with energy. And I know in the last one, like you were talking to the girl about like whether she was an extrovert or an introvert, and you
mm-hmm,
were explaining like the different ways to tell.
mm-hmm,
I'm I'm similar to you. Like I like to be around people. I love to be around people, but I also love to be alone.
mm,
Like I have to be alone. That's where I feel like the best, and that's where I feel like I can like recharge, and fill my cup up and everything like that. And also like to go back to like the Libra and the people pleasing, like. You know how I told you, when I was young, I was very quiet, like I didn't express anything. Like I literally had to start asking myself, what am I feeling? How do I feel about this?
Mhm.
Because when people would ask me, like, how do you feel? Like as I was transitioning out of just being that girl and becoming this woman, like
Mhm.
people would ask me, like, oh, how do you feel about this? Like, and I realized like I didn't even have opinions. I didn't even know
Mhm.
what I was feeling because I was so used to just attaching to other opinions and to
Yep.
how other people felt, not purposely,
Mhm.
and from the goodness of my heart, never in like like a weird way or evil way or anything like that, but that's just how I was, and how I am still. Um, but yeah, I had to like start to ask myself like how do you feel about this? Because I didn't even know. I had no idea. Like I was not connected to my feelings. Um, and yeah, like when people ask me, "Oh yeah, what are you?" whatever, I say like I'm an Aries because I think when people first see me, like and they like, our first meeting or whatever maybe, that's how I come off. Like you even said like, "Oh, I'm good at like talking or whatever." I've always been pretty good with like public speaking, but like that's just like that's the shell of me. That's not even who I am, like really, deep down, deep down, I'm the stutterer, deep down, I'm like there's a whole world inside of here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I feel like I've lived a lot of my life like in that Pisces energy and I still love it and I still obviously embrace it, but me step like I've just been wanting to really be like bold and courageous within these past couple of years. And so like I feel like I'm finally stepping inside of that Aries energy and like really like becoming more of that. But there was one thing you said that I never like really thought about and it kind of like took me back a little bit because you mentioned the Pisces energy in the sixth house, I think you said,
Mhm.
and how it can deal with like pets.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this like connects, but like last year, I lost a cat that I had for a long time. She was, I got her when I was a kid. And like I went through like grief, with losing the cat. And it was interesting because like I feel like some people understood, some people who, have pets and understand like the connections that you can have with pets and just, sometimes the purpose that pets serve. Um, but then there's other people who like don't really understand that. So it was kind of hard to like navigate and like talk to people about it. But I went through like a kind of like a hard time grieving because of I just had like regrets about like how I like showed love to her. I wasn't like mean or like hitting her or nothing like that, but I was allergic and I got her when I was a teenager, so I was like more concerned about other things, as a
Mhm.
teenager. And as an adult and looking back, I'm like, I felt bad because I'm like, she was always like so good, like so loving and everything like that. And I just wish that I loved her more. And then also too, like the way that like I lost her, like she died from old age and just being sick, but like I just felt regrets with how like I said goodbye to her because I realized like I don't do well with death. Like it's kind of difficult for me to like I guess navigate and I've always just like felt uncomfortable like even in funerals, every like I never liked to be like in funerals or anything like that. So when you said pets, that was like really interesting for me because I recently just went through like a whole like situation, like kind of silently about just grieving over this pet and just like really, I don't know, like appreciating her and kind of just like just looking back on everything regarding our little relationship.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if that connects to anything, but that's something that you said that I was kind of like, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
that definitely connects to something. I just got like she's still here with you.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's funny too because I would have like dreams. I had like three dreams after I said goodbye to her, and like in each dream, like it's so hard to explain, but I definitely feel like there was like some type of communication there because
Mm.
um during the end of her life, like she became blind, and um like the first dream I had, it was dark and I saw her and like she could see out of like her eyes were different colors. And then I had another dream and it was like one eye, she could see out of one eye, but she couldn't see out of the other eye. And
Mm.
then I had the last dream and it was like I think she was like totally she couldn't see out of both. Like I knew this in the dream. Um and despite how she might have like looked or just the process of her like losing her sight, like I always felt like love and like comfort, and that those dreams like really like helped me like navigate the grief you know
Mhm.
so yeah, rest in peace to her.
Yes. Oh, oh man. Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't, mm, yeah, people come, energy, spirits, whatever you want to call it, come in our life through different things. Okay. Especially pets. I mean, that's like, yeah, that is something in my belief, through what I've learned. And, yeah, that's another thing I was gonna say with Pisces energy, since they are connected to like the spirit realm, like a lot of Pisces energy people probably dream a lot, and if you do dream a lot, it is important, I think, that you like really pay attention to your dreams and you write them down, because like how you were talking about like symbolism, like how you utilize like the Bible for that,
Mhm.
like you are gifted, you are intuitive, you definitely, so a lot of you may get insights through your dreams. And it's like the symbolism behind that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like when you're talking about your cat, and I don't know, this is my own perception as far as like regardless of how, like even though your cat was like blind, like not able to see, she still like felt your energy and she knew like she was still able to like love you for you because she felt your energy and she didn't really need to like see like I guess feeling the feeling that she felt from you was enough of
Mhm.
that's just how yeah I feel.
Yeah.
um which kind of makes me think of like as we talk about relationships, as we talk about friendships, as we talk about beliefs. That's the biggest thing, I really resonate with. I mean, I've literally humiliated myself constantly on the internet about like sharing my journey about stuff. But yeah, it's literally like people can like say a lot. People can talk a lot. Words for me mean nothing because people can talk a big talk. Words were created. Those were man-made. Like someone
Mhm.
created these words that we're talking about. So, yeah, who's to say that the words are the truth?
Mhm.
Because it can be so altered. There is no, you just don't know. But what you do know is the feelings. That
Yeah.
feelings don't lie. So, that is very important. I think if you are around people who can just like I don't know the value of that. uh because yeah, I just feel like that's something that's so important. So
I agree.
um yeah, so is there any specific question that do you have like a question that you would like to get astrological advice on, or any
Uh,
questions in general for our last for the last part?
mm, Okay, two questions. Two like quick questions. You mentioned like Mercury. Um, like I said, like I don't really know too much about planets,
Hmm.
so like I'm just kind of like wondering what that would mean.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then also, this is like outside of this is just in general, like about your platform that I was wondering. And that was whether you started doing like these talks with like your friend who about like healing and you had like a little podcast and I think you had like one or two episodes.
Mm.
It's like you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if you guys were gonna like continue doing that. So yeah, those
Okay.
are my two questions.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So the first one is I'm laughing because there's like a story behind that one. So the second question, but so yeah, Mercury has to do with your communication and your thoughts, your mind and your communication. So your thoughts, how you think, how you yeah, pretty much how you think, how you process things mentally, and maybe what you think about. And then it's also like how you communicate as well. Um, so for you, because it's in Pisces, I would just say like, I mean, and that's another thing. Do you know about planet rulers?
Not really.
Okay. So I'm like, do I want to go into this? Just know
It could be the
every
short version.
okay, yeah. Every sign has a planet ruler, okay? The planets have obviously have meanings. So the planet ruler for Pisces is Jupiter. Jupiter is all about growth, expansion, luck, abundance. And Pisces energy is usually gains the most of all of that through like some sort of like spiritual connection or creativity or like even like merging, like healing, like like that kind of things, in that way. So you get you gain the most like growth, but it's internally. So you're always trying to like internally like grow yourself through some sort of like
Yeah,
exterior connection to something.
yeah,
Or like once again, even like when it or tapping into the other realms, and that's through like creative, because a lot of artists have Pisces energy, and if they're not, I mean, yeah, if they're not outwardly spiritual, and they may not even define as that, they know that there's something they're able to go places that most people maybe can't access as easily. So for you, your mind may travel elsewhere or can be able to tap into like other parts, which often which is a strength, but also could be difficult with sometimes how you communicate, maybe. And let me know if you feel this way, because I feel like noticed that people with Pisces Mercury have a hard time of either communicating their like thoughts, because they like to communicate through um like I think they are more visual like than explaining. And
hmm
then so they may also get like misperceived by the things that they say because they're like trying to explain it one way and then people are not understanding.
yeah.
This relate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I think this might also be the Libra thing in me. Like another thing about me is like I'm kind of like indecisive
Oh
because I'm
yeah.
always seeing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm trying to like express something, I
Mm-hmm.
always feel like people are not understanding me because I'm like I'm 100%. Yeah. I resonate with that for sure because I don't know, I feel like when I talk like I'm all over the place. Like I know what I want to say in here, but like I don't know if it translates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely communication. And then just in general, just with my story of, not really communicating much when I was young, now that I'm older, like it's definitely hindered. I see how it's like hindered me in general, but also just like in relationships, I see how it has hindered me as well. And that's something that I'm also like trying to work on
Mm-hmm.
as far as like communicating goes because like I think that also has to deal with like why I'm not the best communicator. But then now I know, like there's another energy. Like I really just be over here. Like
Yeah.
and I'm trying to like express it here.
Mm.
Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to other people.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's what Pisces energy has to learn is how do you like how to what is the word? Um like with creation, because that's a big thing with that Pisces. Is like how do you oh, dang, I'm forgetting the word. I want to say like solidify or how do you like bring something that is a how do you turn nothing into like or not nothing, but how do you turn like a dream, a visual into like a solidified thing? Like I'm not using the right term. I'm like blinking out. Also, Mercury's in Pisces, transiting. So, oh, if
Okay.
you've been feeling, I'm not, I have some questions around that, but yeah, like how do you turn? Oh yeah, how do you turn the non-physical into physical? That's
Yeah.
a big thing.
Yeah. I can, because even like with my poetry, like
Yes.
what I'm like, even when I write poetry, it's all in metaphors. Like it's all
Yes.
like, and I feel like it's kind of like hindered me in my poetry as well. Like something I'm trying to do now is just like, just say it, and just like explain more and like kind of like what they say, show rather than tell.
Yes.
Because I just use like a whole bunch of metaphors, and I feel like readers might not really understand like what I'm trying to say, but I know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They don't, because it's not plainly, written out and like laid out in detail and everything like that. It's kind of like,
Yes.
girl, what are you talking about?
But no, I'm glad you said that because that was my next thing. I was gonna say a lot of Pisces energy, especially Pisces Mercury, will do well as poets. That's
Okay.
so right on, like for you, because you're able to just like you said, just you may not be ex like you may explain an experience or a feeling, and it will be through like the symbolicness of things instead of
Mhm.
just saying cut. Like say for instance, you talk about fear. You may not say I have fear, but you're painting the picture of what that looks like, what that
Yeah.
feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which actually is your strength because then it literally takes people there. They're able to like feel the sensation of that. They go into they connect to something outside of just the standard word of fear. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's beautiful. That's where artistry comes from, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. So it does show like since you have so much in the sixth house, like you definitely hear, to be doing like for with your poetry. So that's another thing I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna cut this part out and probably because I think I'm gonna start doing these. Anyways, we'll see. Anyways, but the point is, this is just extra information that this year the North Node. Do you know about the North and South nodes?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like the South Node represents like your past, and the
Yeah.
North Node represents like your
Like your
future.
current soul's purpose in this lifetime. So
Yeah.
yeah, you have that in your own chart, but transits, you know about the transits. The transits are
Hmm.
the current energy. So we have a current north and south node that collectively we're all going through right now, and that's going to be for the next 2 years. So the current north node is in Pisces, and the south node is in Virgo. And we see where's Virgo. This is in your 12th house, Pisces. So that means for the next couple of years, you are experiencing a release in this area in your life. 12th house usually probably most likely means like you are gonna be in the next 2 years transiting out of like I like to call the 12th house as like your cave. Like that's where you go to retreat, to escape. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So all the Pisces energy, like the escaping, like you being like not wanting to be seen or be perceived or even like that, like you are navigating through coming out into the sixth house, which is like actually whatever you've been doing here, doing the work, exploring who you are, your crafts, all of that. Now it's time for you to present that somewhere, it's
Mm-hmm.
saying, and to help others through that. So you're kind of getting out of your shell, which makes sense for what like you're doing now, but it does show that you're gonna be taking whatever you like have been doing in that cave
Yeah.
somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then today is a Libra full moon. Did
Yeah.
you know that?
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's another thing about like you're letting go of the, people, all of that people
Yeah.
pleasing, but it's also like a sense of identity, like for you because it's in your first house. And now you're gonna be like really exploring, leaning into that Aries energy and then finding people who connect with that, or who can, uh illuminate more or that power with, So yeah, great. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so the podcast. Funny that you asked that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um yeah. How do I describe it? Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that I guess that's the best way I can just say that for right now. That's undetermined.
Okay.
Okay. I think that I should just like keep it at that for right now. Just know that we like that she is like a mom. She has a whole
Yeah.
family. Honestly,
Yeah.
like it was like she's been a practitioner for years, like behind the scenes. Like she has not been on like I her doing that was the first time she was ever on social media. She doesn't even have any social medias. So she's been doing this for like years. She is like yeah, she is a gym. But I was like begging her for so long because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so many great conversations. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like the world needs to hear this. So it was really a big adjustment for her. So yeah, so we're like, we're gonna try it out and see how you feel. I want to respect your boundaries. And so yeah, we're just like navigating that. So I want to respect her and I want to, I don't want her to like force her to be in front of things. So I hope, but it's undetermined right now.
Okay. Yeah, I totally get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just asked because, I honestly just listen. I just want to give you your flowers because I know that, you're kind of like going out on a limb. You've been going out on a limb for like a year, more than a year,
Too
while going
damn long. Too.
but while going through everything that you're going through personally, and you're still here, and as you can see, like you're still like reaching people. And it's kind of like what I think you mentioned this recently because I try to watch your videos like often because I know you talk about like the transits and everything, and I want to listen to it during the time that it's happening.
Mm,
Um, but you mentioned, the other day like timing and how sometimes we want that instant gratification, but like we have to like wait in time, and whoever's meant to receive your message will receive it. So I just want to give you your flowers because it takes a lot to do that. It really does, especially from where you came from, trying to do this transition and everything like that. Like you are reaching people and you are, helping people and everything like that. So yeah, even if, that podcast doesn't happen, like it doesn't matter, what you put out is still great. It's still like helpful, knowledgeable, and I think there's people like more than me who are, connecting. I just think that, sometimes a lot of people kind of just like to be in the background, you know. Um, if I would have never reached out to you, you would have never known me, and I feel like there's a lot of other people out there who are in that situation, who just haven't made themselves known. So hopefully, as time goes on, this community grows more and more, because like it's needed, and I feel like this specific lens, this voice needs to like be put out more into the world because there's a lot of other messages and other beliefs and other things like coming through, and it's like limiting people, and people really need to understand their power and the power of everything around us, and just give grace, um like gratefulness
mm,
that, like this is just good, and
mm,
there's nothing not evil, but like there's nothing under it, under the surface. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? It's pure.
Mhm.
And that's what you sense, just watching you. So even though I know you might feel like, you're making, you're embarrassing yourself or whatever the case is, like you're being who you are and you're being like pure, and that's the energy we need out in this world, especially nowadays with this social media time. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. There goes me being an encourager.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much, and I receive that. Yeah, I do. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm just happy like you got the urge to reach out. Because I just like I said, this is not for like me. I guess I'm glad that you tell me about like how I know these things consciously, but it's nice to hear that there are other people who are more behind the scenes and maybe shy and don't want to reach out or like be as, and I do have to navigate through like my frustration about that because I'm just like, well, I didn't talk about the challenging qualities of Aries, and that could be impatient,
Hmm.
that can be hot-headed a little bit, like can be like a little like frustrated, can deal with like be a little angry. Also, so Aries is ruled by like the first house, so it can be kind of for you, I don't know how this relates because you have the two energies, but can be kind of like not selfish, but like self-focused. And not be conscious of how like their actions affect other people initially, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, having to deal with that and then overcoming fear. I mean, that's another thing. Like just because you're an Aries doesn't mean you're not gonna have the fear. You have energy, energy in Aries, but you're meant to face it, because then that'll strengthen you. Then what can you do? Now you're able to help people overcome their fears.
Yeah.
So yeah. And so well, I don't know if you know, but I'm an Aries moon. So like yeah, the all those qualities just really burn through me. And yeah, and I'm learning to balance it with the Libra energy because like I do feel like I have good intentions, but sometimes I'm like I don't know. It's just important to know that. Yeah, because I guess sometimes I feel like other people should be as loud as I am passionately. And for me, if they're not, then I'm like, then does anybody care or whatever? Even though I know that that's not true. But I'm like, well, if I'm passionate about something, I'm gonna be out and loud about it. And I'm gonna wanna like, reach out to people and I'm gonna like do this. And I'm like, yeah, so sometimes, yeah, when it's like quiet support,
Hmm.
the Aries moon in me has to understand that and not take it like any type of
Yeah.
way. But then it's like I'm also passionate because I'm like, I want us to connect. Like, guys, how are we ever going to connect if you're like like and definitely take your time. Like that's another thing. Yes, like people need to like go at their own pace. And so that's another thing that I have to know. But at the end of the day, I just hope that, I don't want, like I said, I really just want to change social media and I don't want it to be a thing where people are just sitting and watching videos and then not doing anything, or not being around people. So that brings me to the next thing, and I'm gonna do this more because I am I don't know if you know, but I'm involved in this group called Wake Up Your Soul to Your Spiritual Business. And I have really, really been wanting to create my business, which is gonna be called Healthy Girl Healing, where I host monthly women circles and virtually and in person to connect like-minded people, to have more conversations, to talk about astrology, the current astrology and how it's affecting us, and to like just have a support system for people to like express themselves authentically, and find friends. Like that's the main purpose that I wanted to find your friend. And then like I always say, like I want Healthy Girl Healing, the internet, to be a tool to connect people, but then like eventually like plan to meet with each other. Life is about like getting out of your space. So maybe if the other person lives in a different state or even country, like I don't know, once a year, go see the person, Like what life? This is life, like and maybe not whatever you're comfortable with, but like I know that there's a lot of us out there. I just want to have like a space that we can like like a home that we can all go to and then meet each other. And then if people stay, don't, and then maybe you just go and you end up connecting with your soulmate and friend wise. And then, you flock on and then maybe you get inspired and you want to do your own thing. That's totally fine. So that's like my vision. And I've been really back and forth about it because of a lot of things, but I'm also now I got homework to do, and the homework was to like ask friends or follow, people who support you, like one, why did they follow you? Like what drew them to you? And two, like if I were to do this healthy girl healing like business where I number one, I want to do monthly women's circles, but I also want to do one-to-one readings because I believe that life is about like connection to yourself and others as we talk about kind of like this Aries and this Libra energy. I feel like first off we need to have a connection with ourselves, meaning
Right.
like have quiet time to reflect and figure out like get the answers from within. Then
Hmm.
we can go share with other people and have beautiful experiences, and we're probably going to hear different stories and learn, and then we go back and we reconnect so we can extract like what is for us, and and it's just that. And then also creation too. I think creation, like life is about creating. Like if you're not creating, like what? I don't know. So, so yeah, that's what I kind of want to do. So I'm like, okay, so then if you were to join or like be a part of it, like what would you even want? Like what would you want? What are you yearning for? Like, oh, when I think of like something like that, I would love this to be offered or something. So those two things is my question for you.
Yeah, so and you asked why, like why did I
Yeah,
follow?
the one.
Um I don't I it's your personality. Like I like to laugh and I'm like goofy and stuff like that. And I feel like you are too. Like I'm I laugh at your videos, not at you, but like you say certain things or
Not
you're doing
at you
things, and I'm like, I start laughing. Or you laugh at yourself all the
all
time.
the time.
Literally, when you're expressing yourself, you're literally like, oh, like, So
Yeah.
like I feel like mostly it was mainly your personality because even when you were doing hair, it was like great, this person, does hair and everything like that. But like I became more and more like connected to you and wanting to watch your videos when you started like talking and like
Mm,
really just talking about your day and everything like that. So I really just think it's like your personality and just like your energy that like attracted me to you and your videos. And honestly, I've never felt like more connecting to you until this time when you've been going through the spiritual journey because I'm literally in the same shoes, you know. Um, I totally understand, So, that's the answer to that question. And then what I would want, and it's so funny because I know, but you're talking about like the Patreon thing, right? That's the
yes
same
and
thing.
no. Yes and no. So the Patreon, okay, so let just a quick breakdown of what I think. So I'm well, you're the first to know this. Well, not really. I mean, kind of, but I am like really about to like launch my website. So on the
Okay.
website, when you go to the website, that'll be the like the space, obviously, and there you can sign up for the monthly women's circles,
Mhm.
and then or you can do like a one-to-one sessions. Now, the membership is an extra alternative. Say you come to a circle and you really like enjoy it, and you want to now take it further to now you want to have access to the people who decides to be in the membership, and that's like a more like closer connection. I say like that's where we'll like have like live meetings, like especially like to dive deeper, let's just say
Yeah,
that, and have
yeah.
more interactive stuff. So I have a girl who's joined and she says she wants to learn more about tarot and oracle. Now, I can talk about it on my channel, which I plan to do, but I want to have an interactive one where we're sitting down. Okay, maybe you pull some cards, and you try give me a reading or something. Or if you want more questions, So that thing, I'm gonna do a lot more of like teaching on my channel, but if you want to do the interactive, which I think, immerse yourself in practice,
Hmm.
um, then or even like with full moons, I may talk about the full moon, but then I'm like, all right, do you want to go and talk about like how it's affecting you? So that's where I see the membership. It's optional, but the main thing is like the monthly events, and then maybe if
Yeah.
you want to get a one-on-one dive deeper into yourself, the reading.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for that website.
Mm.
Because I know about like the Patreon and I have been like thinking about it. I I'm like even career wise, like I'm in similar shoes as you, like as far as like, okay, what am I doing? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Hmm.
And so like I feel like I should be a little bit more, it's hard because I'm trying to like not think about money and
Mm.
like just just go in the directions and give in the directions where um I feel like I need to, or I just feel that pull, but then also like budgeting.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like I've been aware of the Patreon and I've been going back and forth about it. Um, but I feel like this conversation is like it made me realize that I feel like I need a space um with more like-minded individuals. And I can have both. Like I said, I have that close friend group. We pray over each other. Like we talk about verses, we talk about God, we talk about how God's moving in our lives, just how like, we call them praise reports, like just,
Hmm.
you know, all of that stuff. But that doesn't mean that I can't have this as well
Hmm.
because being here, like there's really only one side being talked about. And I have a whole other side of me that's like not really being able to, I'm not really like able to dive into with other people that like I'm really like yearning for.
Yeah, you're not able to let that shine. And
Yeah.
that is like your core identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, I mean, you already have it, but like I am really interested in the women's circles.
Hmm.
Um, because like the one-on-ones are cool and I'm like interested in that as well, but I'm also just like really, I think deep down like looking for like community.
Hmm.
So, Um, so yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question. And
Yeah,
like
so like within the circles, what would you like want? Or like if you saw it's like, oh, I wish people were doing more of this, or like, or even if you have that, maybe what I just said, it was like, that's perfect. I would like that. Or, I guess it's like, if you just said it, you'd like more connection, and having more spaces where you can just like talk to like-minded people.
and talk about too like how things are like the things that are happening in your life and how like astrological like how it's just like the like you kind of give examples like in your YouTube videos how
Hmm.
explain like, oh yeah, during this transit or this is happening and so you might feel this. For example, this is this like that type of like conversation so
Mm.
that we can kind of just like uplift each other. Like it's literally like that church group that I had, but
Hmm.
like just with that understanding
Hmm.
um with it and that same encouragement and everything, but just like under like a little like a different lens.
Mm.
Um So yeah, that's what I would say. Just
Yeah.
talking about like the forces that are happening and how like it's affecting, all of us and just us being able to encourage each other and
Yeah.
just know that we're not like alone in this,
Hmm.
and just speak words of life, just over each other and yeah, that.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean that affirms it for me. It's just more like, hey, stop overthinking it and just like, dude, there are people who are, interested in that. And then also like I was even thinking about like um doing something where because I want to include creation, so I was like, maybe we can like do something fun where like I don't know, I've like had thoughts of like doing little challenges like well even like I don't know like sometimes some women's circles like I inspire everyone to like put on an outfit that expresses like who they are, you
Yeah.
know? So then like that's a little segment in it where we like, show our outfits and we say like, why does this express us? Or we do like a little challenge and be like, well, I don't know for you because you don't you have your journey with social media. I don't know if it's gonna change, but it's like, oh, like, or maybe in art, like, you bring a piece of like your poetry or whatever, and you like kind of talk about it and like say it and see how that expresses you. So,
I love that idea. I love, love, love that idea. The whole outfit thing, the writing,
mhm.
even like I just thought of like painting.
Yes,
No, even if it's virtual, like we can all like everyone has a Dollar Tree in their state, and they all
yes,
have like A's like the thingies.
yeah,
Like we can have like a virtual like paint thing like you did with the your the
yes, uh-huh.
um yeah, even that. But I agree, like creative expression would be so like good and like therapeutic. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, this has been great. And just know I'm excited. I'm interested. Like, you don't understand that. And that's another thing. Like, I do see some aspect of healthy girl healing. Like, the other aspect is collabing, like collaborations, because, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just, everybody is gifted, okay? And I want Healthy Girl Healing to be a combination of all of that, of other people who can support each other on their journeys, their dreams, their talents. Because even as you talk about I'm so interested because I actually was brought up Christian, and my mom and my grandmother, who I was the closest to, were really like resonated with the Bible.
Hmm.
I never really resonated with it. Like I've always had a Bible, but I never like read it, you
Hmm.
know. So but I've always just had the connection, you
Hmm.
know? And that's another thing. My mom raised us more on like having a relationship rather than like you have to read the Bible, you have to go
Yeah.
to church, even though we did it every now and then. But like I've always had more of a relationship. But yeah, my mom actually was the first person when you said about the stars, the scripture about the stars. My mom has brought that because my mom has been like on my side as far as like when I go to her and like have, especially in the beginning when I decided to talk about my spiritual journey on here and people will talk back on it. My mom is
Yeah.
like, no, actually, the Bible says this. Yeah, the Bible is in support of this. And I'm just like, Mom, can you come on and tell this? Because I can't relay this. I can't relay it the way that you do because I don't read the Bible. But
Yeah.
I'm like, she is hidden. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah. So the fact that you say that, like, it's true. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, what I would love, I don't know how we could like do something with that.
Implement something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Like,
be down. Yeah, I would be definitely down for that. Like I said, like it just interests me in general, but
Mhm.
like another reason why I feel like I started getting into that is because like I said, like I'm around, like it's literally three of us and they're all like Christian. And I'm
Mm,
just this girl, like, you know what I'm saying? So like I kind of
mm,
want to have you shouldn't like disregard anything that you don't know about.
yeah.
That's called being closed-minded.
Yeah.
So um like and I'm always that person to go on the other person's side as well. So I was like, okay, let me go through this and like really like and also another thing, like I'm reading the Ethiopian version of the Bible because as you know, like certain
Mm,
books have been taken out of the Bible.
so I've heard.
Yeah,
I've
so
heard
if
that.
so I was like, okay, and the Ethiopian Bible has like a lot of the books that were taken out, and it's
Mhm.
like one of the most like earliest like version. So I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna go into this, like I don't want to read this version. I don't want to read that version. Like I want to try to read the most like purest version I can so that
Mm,
like if people have something to say to me and they, bring up the Bible, whatever, I can like bring another perspective. Like that's just,
mm,
like what I want to do. Because like I said, like I believe there are some truths in the Bible, some like lessons in the Bible, and people can use it as guidance. Even like worship music. Like I still listen to worship music. When they say certain things, like for example, like, and I was having this conversation with my friend, like I believe in what Jesus represents because I feel like he represents us and our ability to become like God, like similar, like just
Mm-hmm.
have God's power within us and us being able to walk on this earth and exhibit it. So I believe in what he represents. But like as far as him being an actual historical figure, that's something that like I don't believe right now. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but like I'm trying to like wrap my head around because you also know the root, like the beginnings of Christianity and everything like that. Like that's another thing I can't really like get past.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I still listen to worship music as well. I just do it like under my lens, because again, like feeling and energy is big with me and it calms me down. It makes me feel peace. It makes me feel all of these things. I also meditate. Like I just am all over the place, but it's because I feel like all these things are doing the same thing,
Yeah,
really. And
exactly. Just different tools, I call them.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's really just about the heart and like how you're using them.
Yes.
Yeah, I would totally be interested in like
Yeah, we have to think about that because I'm like, okay, so this is where I think for me, I go to Patreon because then, you know, I don't know, we could just have like, um, yeah, like group discussions
hmm
about you bring, that you like pretty much how you talk about how you had your group things in
Yeah,
the church.
yeah.
We can have that in Healthy Girl Healing.
hmm
And then yeah, people just, yeah, they if any members and then we can have a discussion and you be the one who's like talking about it and then and then for people and I would like market it for people who have definitely come from Christian background and people who do read the Bible but do have the same experience as you
hmm
because I just love that. And I like want to hear more about like that as well. Because I think I that's my truth and it makes plain sense to me.
hmm
So yeah. So yeah. See, like, so now do you see my vision? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Y-
I'm
Yeah.
totally for it too.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay, yay. Well, this is great. This is so great, Faith. I just want you to know. I feel like your I call it spirit team is just looking down and so proud of you or around you looking I mean like this is something. This is like a catalyst to something and I'm just really happy you trusted your intuition and it was time, That's another thing, divine timing, I know once again I'd be like so impatient but I'm like the times where things come together, it's like, oh, yeah, now I get it. Oh, I know. That's why I had to go through everything to come here. Yeah.
hmm Yeah. After the fact, you're like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
during it, you're like, um,
Yeah.
when?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm so excited for the journey.
Yeah. Same. Likewise. Thank you too for holding this space. It's weird because I honestly I can't even believe I feel like I'm watching a YouTube video. Like
Oh,
I'm
really?
just like I'm just within it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's thank you for holding the space for, people to be able to just be themselves, honestly.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know. And I'm also like looking towards the future. I feel like I'm feeling the same thing that you're feeling. Like this is definitely like a catalyst and a
Mhm.
step towards something for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future and just to like what's coming next with you individually, but then also just, as a community, like
Mhm.
what like we can get into because listen, I I'm really starting to realize like I need like community.
Yeah,
That's
you do. You do.
someone
Yeah.
besides my fiance because like he's great and all, but like
That's totally how I feel. I have my boyfriend here who's like, yeah, he's great and all, but feminine energy is
exactly.
different than masculine
hmm
energy. Okay.
hmm
It really is.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and balance is great. Okay. You both should be two whole people, have your own life outside of each other, in my opinion. Okay.
hmm
Everybody's different.
hmm
But, that's great. Well, this is exciting and happy full moon to
Yes.
letting go of people pleasing, to reclaiming our power within ourselves and our independence and expressing ourselves, stepping into fear. So yeah, take that
Yeah.
away for everybody. I do want to do I'm assuming you don't have any like follow her in this type of thing. Or
I
do
mean,
you?
I have my Twitter. I'll
Okay.
I'll post I'll post the username in the chat.
Okay.
I might get like a blue sky or threads or whatever, the next, because like they say that X is dying, Twitter's dying.
Oh, so many
Um,
things. TikTok too, maybe.
I'm gonna email it to you because I
Yeah,
had to make
email it. Thank you. Yeah. I was gonna say email
yeah.
is good. So I can, excuse me, so I can attach it to the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll send that.
Mhm.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Look forward to
Likewise.
talking to you soon.
Yes, likewise. Bye. Enjoy
Bye.
your weekend too.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
Bye.